Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has hidden unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure, or admire an old one. What will we find today? Let's dig in. Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
When I left home, I was quite sure my dad would have a hard time letting go. After all, the two of us did everything together, from the sound system at church to visiting senior adults we knew. As one man in our church put it, wherever you see Ken, you'll see Carla. We were very close. After I went off to college, when I asked how he was doing, he was surprisingly okay. He told me later that, like Hannah had done with Samuel, he gave me to the Lord the day I was born, and he was just grateful for the 18 years God had let him borrow me. He held me with an open hand. In Genesis 42, Jacob did not have that attitude. His favorite son Joseph had presumably been killed, so he wasn't about to give up his second favorite son Benjamin. Why? It says in verse 4 that he was afraid something would happen to him. So he sent his other 10 sons to Egypt to buy grain the first time. It wasn't until Joseph insisted Benjamin be brought to Egypt, and Jacob was faced with the starvation of his entire family, that Jacob finally allowed Benjamin to travel to Egypt. And only then, after Judah pledged Benjamin's safety with his own life. That's how tightly Jacob held Benjamin. Jacob's favor of Rachel and her children had turned to fear in his life. That's what happens when we put someone or something else above God. It leads to fear. We feel like we have to hold tightly to it because it's something we can lose. I think, at least subconsciously, we do that because we know we're sinning. We know it's become an idol, and we know that God is a jealous God. He values your relationship too highly to allow lesser things to come between you and Him. So we become afraid God will take it away. So we live in fear. If we do not fear God above all else, we will live in fear. God practically had to force Jacob to let go of Benjamin, pry his fingers open one at a time to let go of Benjamin. When God has to do that, it can be very painful. But look at what Jacob received when he finally let go. Not only did God give Benjamin back, but Jacob received a huge blessing in being reunited with Joseph, all grown up and second in command of Egypt. And his family got to move to Egypt and live out the rest of the famine years in safety and prosperity. And Joseph was at his side when he died, knowing his family was exactly where God wanted them. What Jacob received from letting go was infinitely more valuable than what he might have had in holding on. So ask yourself, what am I holding too tightly to? Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's a ministry. Maybe it's something you enjoy that takes up some time that you should be spending with the Lord. At different times in your life, this might be different things. Sometimes God calls us to let go of a relationship or a physical thing that we're putting above our relationship with Him. Sometimes we don't even realize we're doing it in the first place. But when we realize God is wanting us to let go, do we hold tighter and make Him pry our fingers off of it? Or do we open our hand in submission and faith? If we trust God, it will be much less painful and more of a blessing if we just open our hand and offer it to Him. Whether it's a friendship, a time-wasting game on your phone, a hobby, or like me, your children who are preparing to leave the nest, remember that every good thing comes from God. Thank Him and open your hand and allow Him to do what He wants. I'd love to hear how the Lord blesses you in this process. You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com and check out our new website. You can find the address in the description below. I'm Carla Early, and thanks for listening. And remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.